Hey, what's going on? It's your boy BT, and I came here to talk some boxing with the thousands of True School Sports subscribers. And yes, I am back, and I'm better than ever. The hair is a little curlier, the mustache is a little thicker, and I'm just a bit more handsome. And we're back here on YouTube, and we're gonna talk boxing now. It's funny. I think timing in life is a funny thing, because this morning I woke up and I was like, you know what? I think today's because I've been feeling sick. I've been feeling a little under the weather the last 4 or 5 days or so, and then I didn't have power for about a good 8 days because of Hurricane Irma. But I woke up this morning and I thought to myself, you know what, Brendan, today's a good day to come back and get back on track making videos and feed the YTBC what they want to see, which is fantastic boxing content. And so I did that, and then I checked my phone this morning, and it just turned out that Andre Ward retired. So I figured, what better way to start off my comeback than talking about Andre Ward retiring? This is my video. As I do with most guys who retire, a tribute to Andre Ward. And you're going to say, well, Brendan, you don't like Andre Ward. Well, how are you going to do a tribute to Andre Ward if you don't like Andre Ward? We're going to do a tribute to Andre Ward. We're going to talk about his career for a little bit. So Andre Ward, the last male to win an Olympic gold medal. He was someone that gained a lot of success and fame through his success in the Super Six, beating the likes of Mikhail Kessler and Arthur Abraham and Alan Green and Sakio Bika, guys of that nature. And then he went to the courtroom, and he had his problems with Dan Goossen, R.I.P. Dan Goossen. And then he came back, had a bunch of tune-up fights, like two or three tune-up fights. He had Joe Smith, Sullivan Barrera, Alexander Brand. I'm probably missing one. And then he fought Kovalev, and then we know how I feel about those fights. We don't need to get into that. But as far as his career goes, what can you say? The guy on paper, forget my feelings for a second. On paper, the guy was 32-0. The guy had 16 knockouts. The guy did move up. He did conquer weight classes. So you got to give him just some credit. He does deserve a little bit of credit. He had a good career. Obviously, in many ways, and I'm gonna be very blunt about how I feel about this. I see a lot of people on social media, and they're giving him his just due, which is fine. Give him his just due, because a lot of people feel like he doesn't get his just due. So if you're one of those people that feels he doesn't get his just due and he's underrated, which I think quite opposite of that, but if you feel that way, you give him his just due. But for me, in many ways, and I hate to sound like a dick here, but in many ways, I feel like with Ward retiring, it's a good day for boxing. Boxing kind of needs to move forward because I think in many ways, Ward to me, when I look at Andre Ward, he's a cautionary tale of what in many ways what not to do in boxing as far as like making yourself a big name. Now, in some ways, Andre Ward's weird. He's like a paradox to me. Like part of his retirement is good, and then part of it is not so good, because a lot of it is good because he's gonna get out with his faculties on top. He made good money, and he set himself up well after boxing. So for that part of it, for that part of his career, I think that's beautiful. I think that's great. I think that's amazing. I think any fighter that can do that, it's great, because this sport is unforgiving. And if you have your faculties and you're making good money, you should get out while you can. But on the other hand, I look at Andre Ward as a guy that, and many people would agree with me, I would say, as a guy that, while he did go undefeated and while he did have some pretty high quality wins on his resume, he didn't necessarily become that transcendent star that America was looking for. And a lot of that, in my opinion, and the opinions of other people that are in the boxing world, is because of himself, and just the way he handled his career, and how he went about things, and it is what it is. I think Andre Ward, for the most part in his career, especially if you look at the first Kovalev fight and even the second Kovalev fight, I thought he always got special treatment, and I thought he got bailed out on many occasions. Now, obviously, there's a Kovalev side of the story. There's the John David Jackson saga, which I will talk about, because there's quite a lot to talk about with that. But as far as with Ward, yeah, I thought he always got preferential treatment from not just refs in boxing, but fans in boxing, everybody in boxing. I thought he always got preferential treatment, and just because of the nice guy that he is outside the ring, which I'm sure he comes off as a very nice guy. I never met him, but he seems like he's a nice guy. Overall, with his career, I'm not sad about it. If anything, I'm rather happy about it. I'm not really an Andre Ward fan. I don't necessarily like watching him fight. But I guess congrats on a good career. I've said a lot of venomous bad things about him, so I don't want to say too much more since he's not going to be boxing anymore. But yeah, congrats on a solid career and thrilling your fans. And I was there for his last fight against Kovalev, where he landed a good right hand, and the fight was very controversial. I mean, you did punch the guy in the balls 3 times, but it was still a good fight where he showed him a much more improved version of himself. I would say he was more healthy in the second fight. He was more Ward was more settled into the weight at 175. In many ways, I'm kind of surprised that he didn't fight Adonis Stevenson and go for the undisputed, because he was talking about that after Crawford had beaten Dongo to become undisputed. Maybe Al Heyman froze him out, and that fight was just unrealistic. I know he was talking about moving up to cruiserweight to fight Tony Bellew, and that didn't happen either. So I guess he figured his body was going through too much. At least that's what he says. But in my opinion, I feel that Al Heyman just froze him out of the one option he wanted, which was Adonis Stevenson to go undisputed, and he didn't necessarily want to go up to cruiserweight and fight a guy like Tony Bellew. Although I would have picked him to win. I don't know, man. His career, to me, when I look at Andre Ward's career, it's a weird career because he gets out on top with his faculties in check, and he's made his money. But I feel like with him, he had so much more potential to be something so much more in boxing. And I know some people might think that's a crazy statement, but that's just how I feel. And that's what it is. So I really don't have too much to say. Like I'm not a huge fan of Andre Ward's, but he did get in the ring with some of the biggest names like Carl Frost and Sergey Kovalev. So you got to give him respect for that. And I just respect for giving the sport your life. And even though I don't like Andre Ward as a fighter, I will say that as a commentator, I think he's doing a tremendous job. So for what I did like as a fighter, I do like as a commentator. I think he's a tremendous commentator. I think when Andre Ward talks about the mental part of boxing, those are things I like about Andre Ward. It's more for me. The things that I do like about Andre Ward aren't necessarily the things that were in the ring. It was more so the things out of the ring. How he talks about boxing, the mental side of boxing. I enjoy that stuff from him. I think to me that's where you learn the most and you get the most from Andre Ward, is when he talks about those things. And I guess just keep this video positive. That's what I want to remember about Andre Ward. I want to remember the guy that was always talking and preaching about the mental side of boxing, giving the younger fighters and the fight fans, just that the little insight into the mental side of boxing. I think he does that better than most fighters in boxing, and it's probably the one thing I'll take away from him on a positive note. And I don't want to be negative. I've been very negative about him a lot. So this ain't the video for that. Have a good career, champ. Keep doing a good job on HBO and ESPN and all your other commentating gigs. And who knows? Maybe we'll come back and fight again. But shout out to Andre Ward.